Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
Charlotte stepped off the sleek shuttle onto the vibrant alien landscape of Zyphora, her senses igniting with exhilaration. The air was thick with the scent of exotic flowers, and towering trees with luminescent leaves enveloped her in a kaleidoscope of color. This was it, the adventure she had always dreamed of, a chance to explore uncharted territories and encounter life beyond her wildest imagination. As a member of the Intergalactic Exploration Corps, she had trained for years, ready for moments just like this. Her heart raced with the thrill of discovery as she adjusted her translation device, ensuring she could communicate with any inhabitants she might encounter. "All right, Charlotte," she muttered to herself. "Let's make history." With her excitement steering her forward, she ventured into the lush, untamed jungle. The sounds of alien creatures echoed around her, a cacophony of languages and life forms blending into a symphony of the unknown. She took a deep breath, feeling alive among the towering ferns and peculiar fauna. Hours passed as she documented her findings, noting the peculiar habits of brightly colored creatures and the mesmerizing patterns of plant life. But it was when she stumbled upon the sacred grove that her adventure took an unexpected turn. In the heart of the grove stood an iridescent tree, pulsating with energy. Drawn to its beauty, Charlotte approached, her hand reaching out instinctively to touch its shimmering bark. The moment her fingers made contact, she felt a rush of warmth spreading through her. It felt almost like magic, a connection to the very essence of Zyphora itself. But her moment of wonder was abruptly shattered. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall and imposing, with skin that shifted hues in the light. William, a guardian of the grove, stood before her, his eyes wide with shock and anger. The air around him crackled with tension. "You touched me without permission, human," he exclaimed, his voice a deep, resonant growl that echoed through the grove. "Do you understand the law of my people?" Charlotte's heart raced. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend. I thought—" "You thought what?" William interrupted, stepping closer, his eyes narrowing. "That it was acceptable to violate the sanctity of our customs? You have invoked the law." Charlotte was taken aback by his ferocity. She could see the conflict in his expression, a mix of fury and something deeper, perhaps fear. "I didn't know. Please, I just wanted to learn about your world." To her horror, he continued, "You've placed me in a position of obligation. The law says, once touched, a bond is formed. You must now be my mate." Her mind raced. The implications of what he said crashed over her. "Mate?" she echoed, disbelief mingling with a hint of panic. "I don't even know you." "Nor do I know you," William replied, frustration etched across his face. "But it matters not. Your touch has sealed our fates." As the weight of his words hung in the air, Charlotte felt the ground shift beneath her. This was more than an accidental touch. It was a catastrophic misunderstanding with incredible stakes. She had no idea how to navigate the intricacies of Zyphran law, especially not to the point of being bound to an alien she had just met. Charlotte stood in stunned silence, her mind racing as she tried to wrap her head around the gravity of the situation. Bound by law to an alien she didn't know. How could this happen? The vibrant grove suddenly felt stifling, and she desperately searched William's intense gaze for some sign of understanding or leniency. "Look, I get it," Charlotte began, willing herself to adopt a calm tone. "I didn't mean to disrespect your customs. Maybe there's a way to, I don't know, undo this." William's expression hardened. "You speak as if this is a trivial matter, human. The bond is not easily broken. To reverse our fates would require a formal ritual, one that binds us even more tightly." "A ritual?" Charlotte echoed incredulously. "I don't even know how your rituals work. I'm not ready to be anyone's mate, especially not to someone I just met in a grove." "It is not a choice you were granted," William replied gravely. "In my culture, consent comes through ritual, binding two souls and their destinies." As the weight of his words settled in her mind, Charlotte's heart raced. She focused on breathing. She needed to think straight, but the prospect of being married off to this imposing creature felt both absurd and terrifying. Okay, why don't you tell me what we need to do? Charlotte proposed, hoping for some clarity. If we have to go through a ritual, let's at least do it with our eyes open. Tell me everything. What does the law say? William hesitated, considering her earnestness. You are different from most humans. The law dictates that after the initial contact, rituals are meant to unite and deepen our connection. We can either fulfill the bond or seek the trial of denial, which may lead to consequences for us both. Trial of denial? Charlotte questioned, her mind whirling with anxiety and curiosity. What does that involve? He met her gaze, a flicker of something softer appearing momentarily. It involves a public contest before the council, where you would have to demonstrate a lack of compatibility. The penalties are not light. It can result in banishment or worse for both parties. Charlotte squeezed her eyes shut, grappling with the fear of being thrust into such a situation. And what if we decide to go through with this bond thing? There is no guarantee that we will still remain free of consequences. Society's expectations weigh heavy on such unions. If we choose the bond, we must face societal scrutiny, even as pairs from different worlds. You would have to adopt my customs, learn our ways, or risk becoming an outcast. But what if I can't? She blurted out, frustration rising. I'm human. My whole life is on Earth with my people. This is ridiculous. But you are already here, he replied evenly. The only way forward is acceptance of the situation or risk being torn apart by external forces. As they stood in the shadow of the radiant tree, Charlotte realized this was no simple misunderstanding. It was an inciting incident that had bound her to a world she had only just begun to explore. Torn between her thirst for adventure and the stark reality of her situation, she rubbed her temples, feeling the weight of uncertainty pressed down on her. Let's just take a moment, she suggested, gathering her thoughts. Let's walk and talk. Show me more of your world. Maybe that will help. William hesitated, clearly torn. Then, with a resigned exhale, he nodded. Very well. I will show you the way. But do not mistake my allowance for leniency. Should we encounter others, you must adhere to our customs. They will see your presence as a challenge to our laws. They started to walk deeper into the grove, the air thick with the fragrance of desert blooms and the whispering rustle of leaves. As they moved past towering trees and strange luminescent flowers, Charlotte's heart raced not just from fear, but excitement. Perhaps embracing this situation could yield unexpected discoveries, cultural exchanges that would broaden her own perspective. As they walked, she asked questions about Zyphora's history, its ecology, and its people, determined to learn as much as she could. Slowly, William began to open up, his reticent demeanor softening with each exchange. This grove is sacred, he explained, gesturing to the ethereal surroundings. It has stood for millennia, a place where bonds are forged and destinies intertwined. Many believe it is alive, sensing the intentions of all who enter. Does that include me? Charlotte asked, tasting a hint of humor in her tone. I mean, in the eyes of the grove, am I a threat or an ally? William halted, regarding her with an unreadable expression. You are both, until you decide otherwise. The gravity of that statement hung thick between them, and Charlotte found herself drawn to the complexity of this alien being. Perhaps this unexpected journey, this forced bond, held more than just obligations. It was an opportunity for growth, even in the strangest of circumstances. The sun dipped lower in the sky as William guided Charlotte deeper into the grove, illuminating the underbrush in hues of vibrant orange and deep violet. The atmosphere was saturated with the hum of alien life, and Charlotte found herself both enchanted and overwhelmed by the beauty surrounding her. Tell me, she asked, her curiosity bubbling to the surface as they moved. What does it mean to be a guardian of the grove, William? This place is sacred. As guardians, we protect its integrity from those who would exploit its power, he replied, glancing at her from the corner of his eye. Our people believe that the energies of this grove can alter destinies. Misuse of that power can lead to catastrophic consequences. Charlotte nodded, her mind racing. And do people believe in the Grove's magic? They do. But it's a magic that requires balance. To touch the sacred elements without an understanding can skew that balance, and thus a union initiated in ignorance can invite chaos. Sounds pretty ominous. Charlotte chuckled, trying to lighten the mood. But at least now I know why I got such a hostile reception. William turned to her, his expression softening slightly. Hostility is a natural response to violation. We value our customs deeply. They shape our identities and ensure harmony in our world. As they continued their exploration, Charlotte spotted peculiar fruits hanging from branches that sparkled like gemstones. "What are those?" she asked, pointing toward the glowing orbs. "Zephyrin orbs," William explained, plucking one off the branch. "They hold energy and sustenance. They are traditionally shared during mating rituals, symbolizing the exchange of strength between partners." Charlotte's heart skipped a beat at the mention of mating rituals. She felt the weight of their earlier conversation pressing down again. "Are you suggesting we eat one?" With a hint of amusement in his eyes, William tossed her an orb, watching as she caught it awkwardly. "Only if you want to further solidify our bond." Holding the orb in her hand, Charlotte examined its luminescent surface. It pulsed with energy, a symbol of the realm she was now entangled in. "Well, here goes nothing," she said with faux bravado, biting into the fruit. A rush of sweetness flooded her senses, and she couldn't help but smile. "Wow, this is delicious." William watched her with an intrigued expression. "You embrace the unknown well, human. It is a quality I admire." Her smile faltered briefly at the sincerity of his praise. "Thanks. I guess I try to see the bright side." Suddenly, a low growl pierced the air. William tensed, transforming into a figure of caution. "Stay close," he commanded, eyes scanning their surroundings. Before she could respond, a group of Zephyrin warriors burst through the foliage, their skin gleaming in shades of emerald and cobalt. They moved with fluid grace, resembling ethereal predators, dangerous and mesmerizing. "William," one of them barked, approaching swiftly. "You dare to be with a human? You jeopardize our laws." Charlotte stepped forward, heart racing. "I'm not here to cause trouble. It was an accident. I didn't know." The leader of the warriors, a fierce-looking female with intricate tattoos along her arms, glared at her. "Your presence disrupts the balance of our society. You should not have entered here." William interjected, standing protectively in front of Charlotte. "She made a mistake, a serious one, but it cannot be undone by violence or threats. We must engage with reason, not hostility." The tension in the air crackled as the warriors exchanged disgruntled glances. "And what of the bond, William?" the leader challenged. "You would take a human as a mate. Do you wish to tarnish the legacy of our people?" Charlotte felt the heat rising in her cheeks, a mixture of anger and embarrassment. She had stepped into a world where her very existence was considered a threat. "I intend to learn and understand your ways," Charlotte said firmly. "We can bridge the gap between our worlds rather than cutting ties. Or are you all just afraid?" The leader's eyes widened in shock, and William shot her a look of surprise. For a brief moment, quiet enveloped them, the warriors uncertain. "You are bold for a human," the leader said slowly, a hint of respect creeping into her tone. "But boldness can lead to disaster. Can you genuinely grasp the weight of this bond?" "I'm not here to disrespect your laws. I just want to coexist," Charlotte replied, her voice steady. "If I have to learn, then let's teach me together." William's expression shifted to one of cautious admiration. "She speaks from the heart. We are different, but it does not have to breed enmity. If given a chance, I believe she can uphold her part of the bond." After a tense silence, the leader considered Charlotte's words, her fierce demeanor softening ever so slightly. "Then let it be so," she declared. "We will not force you from Zyphora, but you will face our customs and trials. Prove your worth, or face the consequences." As the warriors stepped back, Charlotte felt a rush of relief mixed with apprehension. She was being given a chance to embody the very essence of cooperation between their people. Though terrifying, it started to feel like an opportunity. "Thank you," she said, meeting the leader's gaze. "I won't let you down. I promise I'll do my best to honor your customs." William nodded alongside her, a bond forged in shared determination and the spirit of hope. As the warriors dispersed, he turned to her, a flicker of admiration in his eyes. "You have courage, Charlotte. Perhaps this fate is not so grim after all." "Maybe not," she smiled back, her heart racing. "But let's hope we don't run into trouble like that again." Together, they turned back toward the grove, the path ahead illuminated with the potential for discovery and unity. Charlotte took a deep breath, stepping forward into the unknown, determined to uncover the roots that could bind their worlds together. The following days became a whirlwind of activity. Under the watchful gaze of William, Charlotte immersed herself in Zifferan culture, preparing for the trials set by the council. Each morning, they would meet at dawn, with William teaching her the nuances of their language, the importance of their customs, and the significance of the bond they were meant to share. "Your use of our language is improving," William remarked one day, watching Charlotte as she practiced a traditional greeting. "Though the subtleties often elude you, the effort is noted." "Thanks," she replied with a grin, pleased with the compliment. "I feel like I'm learning to dance on the edge of a blade. One slip and it's disaster." "You will face disaster if you do not approach our customs with respect," he admonished lightly, though there was a playful glimmer in his eyes. As Charlotte delved deeper into her studies, she discovered the beauty of Zifferan myths, tales of gods and ancient guardians, weaving her understanding of their world into the fabric of her thoughts. She spent hours with elders, listening to legends that spoke of love, sacrifice, and the mystical powers of the grove. One evening, as the sky blushed with colors of dusk, she sat with a group of elders who told the story of the grove's heart, a legendary artifact said to contain the essence of life itself. It is believed that the heart strengthens bonds, that it protects those destined for greatness. The elder spoke, her voice rich and hypnotic. "But beware, for those who use its power selfishly will face dire consequences." Charlotte listened intently, heart racing at the prospect of such a powerful object. "Does the heart still exist?" she asked. The whispers of the grove suggest it does, hidden from those undeserving. Another elder chimed in, his gaze shrouded in mystery. This revelation ignited something deep within Charlotte. Could the grove's heart be the key to not only solidifying her bond with William, but also uniting their societies? She felt a growing connection to this place, an urgency to seek out its treasures. After her time with the elders, she sought out William, her excitement bubbling over. "I learned about the grove's heart. What if we could find it together? It might help both our peoples." William paused, regarding her with a mixture of concern and intrigue. The heart is a symbol, not merely an object to be taken. If it exists, we must not approach it recklessly. "Of course," Charlotte responded, her mind racing with possibility. "But wouldn't the effort to find it show the Zifferan people that our bond has value? It can symbolize unity and strength." "Unity through force is not unity at all." William crossed his arms, deep in thought. "We would need to consult the council. They may reject this idea outright. Then let's present them with something they can't refuse," she suggested. "We could show them our bond firsthand, combine our cultures during the trials. It could serve as proof of our compatibility." William regarded her for a long moment, weighing her words carefully. "If we can succeed against the trials, then perhaps your proposal will hold weight." "Then we'll do it together," Charlotte declared, determination fueling her spirit. She knew this was her chance to prove her worth and chances for a brighter connection between their worlds. The day of the trials approached, casting a shadow of anxiety over Charlotte. As she stood before the council, a circle of imposing Zifferan figures clad in ceremonial garb, she felt her pulse quicken. William stood at her side, offering silent support. "State your purpose," the lead elder commanded, her voice resonating like thunder. Charlotte stepped forward, refusing to let fear dampen her resolve. "We seek to prove our bond and uncover the grove's heart. Together, We wish to unite our worlds through understanding and respect." The council murmured among themselves, their expressions unreadable. Charlotte could sense the tension in the air, her heart pounding in anticipation. "Your bond is frail," the lead elder replied. "Only through trials may you prove yourselves worthy, and only through these rites may a path be forged." William stepped forward. "We accept the trials," he declared, his tone filled with authority. "We will face whatever challenges lay before us." As the council deliberated, Charlotte felt William's strength beside her, grounding her. Their eyes met briefly, and she saw the flicker of mutual determination. "Very well," the elder continued. "You will face 3 trials: the trial of balance, the trial of compassion, and the trial of unity. Succeed, and you may receive the blessing of the grove, and seek the heart." The council summoned the first trial, a vast arena bathed in sunlight, surrounded by the whispers of the grove. It was meant to challenge their physical abilities and personal resolve. The trial of balance commenced as they stood on a narrow beam that stretched across a wide chasm. Charlotte steadied herself as she and William traversed the precarious path. "Focus on the center," William advised, his voice calm. "Maintain harmony between us." Charlotte took a deep breath, channeling all her concentration as she placed one foot in front of the other, determined not to fall. With each step, she felt the bond between them strengthen, their connection anchoring her heart. "Together," William urged, their hands brushing as they moved forward. In that moment, Charlotte found a rhythm, a sense of flow that carried them to the other side. Cheers erupted from the council, their approval echoing through the grove. They had passed the first trial, and Charlotte felt the thrill of victory course through her veins. 2 more yet remain, William reminded her, a smirk of pride tugging at his lips. "Bring it on," she laughed, adrenaline rushing. And so, they prepared for the next challenges, each one drawing them deeper into the heart of what it meant to be bonded. A journey that tested their strengths, exposed their vulnerabilities, and forged an unbreakable connection amid a world rich with chaos and discovery. After conquering the first trial, confidence flowed through Charlotte and William like the energy coursing through the grove. They stood side by side, taking a moment to collect themselves before the next challenge. The trial of compassion, a test that would demand more than just physical prowess. The council members called them forth, their expressions serious. "This trial will test not only your resolve, but the depths of your bond. It is essential for a pair destined for mating to show understanding and empathy toward one another," the lead elder declared, her voice echoing with authority. Charlotte glanced at William, who met her gaze with a look of determination. The weight of their situation settled in her heart. "We can do this," she reassured him, though she herself felt the jitters of anxiety. In the heart of the grove, a vast, dimly lit space awaited them, filled with looming shadows and hidden challenges. The elders revealed a series of scenes drawn from their pasts, highlighting moments of struggle and heartache. The first scene depicted William as a young guardian, mourning the loss of a once vibrant tree that had been struck by lightning. Charlotte could see the pain etched on his features as he grieved. Instinctively, she reached out, feeling a surge of compassion. "William," she whispered, understanding dawning on her. "You've lost so much." "Yes," he replied, his voice barely above a murmur. "It was more than a tree. It was a part of our legacy." Charlotte stepped closer, wrapping her arms around him. The warmth of their connection enveloped them, and for a moment, she could feel their hearts beating in sync. "I'm here for you," she said softly, the sincerity of her words resonating in the stillness. The scene shimmered and shifted, replaced by another memory, this one of Charlotte's own life, filled with moments of doubt and isolation. She thought of times she felt out of place, the loneliness that plagued her during her childhood. "Charlotte, you are not alone," William said, echoing her thoughts. "We share these vulnerabilities." "Yes, we do," she breathed, realizing the depth of their shared experiences. Despite their differences, they understood each other on a fundamental level rooted in empathy. The trials continued, morphing from personal scenes to interactions with one another. They faced moments of miscommunication, stepping into one another's shoes to learn the strength of compassion, patience, and understanding. After enduring the challenges, the council observed their connection, their ability to empathize revealing the power their bond could hold. Finally, the trial concluded, and the council members nodded approvingly. "You have exhibited a deep understanding of each other," the lead elder stated. "You are forging a path toward unity that goes beyond mere mating. It speaks of a partnership grounded in respect and love." Charlotte felt a rush of relief, her heart swelling with pride. "Thank you," she exclaimed, beaming at William. "Two trials remain," he reminded her, his proud smile matching hers. "Then let's tackle the next one," she declared, fueled by their recent success. The final trial began with the setting sun painting the sky in rich hues of crimson and gold. They were taken to a secluded area of the grove, where the ambience shifted, filled with an intense energy that hinted at the importance of this moment. Before them lay an intricate, labyrinthine structure made from woven vines and flowers. "To succeed in this trial, you must work as one," the lead elder explained. "Only together can you navigate the paths that lead to the center, the sacred well of mating. This is where the bond can be sanctified, and your destinies intertwined through true mating rituals." "The sacred well," Charlotte echoed, her breath hitching at the thought. "What exactly does that entail?" "The ritual deepens the connection between you," the elder continued. "You will consume the sacred nectar, solidifying your union. It can amplify your strengths, but also reveal your deepest fears." Charlotte exchanged a wary glance with William, a mix of excitement and apprehension rising within her. "Are we ready for that?" she asked quietly. William nodded, steely determination in his eyes. "We will face this together, Charlotte. Whatever fears lie ahead, we will confront them as one." They stepped into the labyrinth, the path twisting and turning, demanding careful navigation. With each step, Charlotte felt a growing sense of unity between them, an invisible thread binding them tighter as they faced obstacles together. As their journey unfolded, Charlotte confronted her anxiety about the future. "What if we fail?" she confessed, fear creeping into her voice. "What if the council decides we are unworthy?" William turned, his expression unwavering. "We are not defined by their judgment. We are striking a path based on our choices, not theirs. Together we can create our destiny." The way forward became clearer, guided by their shared resolve. With each challenge, they learned to lean on one another, combining strengths, holistically approaching obstacles that arose in the labyrinth. Finally, they emerged into a clearing, the sacred well shimmering before them, filled with a liquid that sparkled like starlight. "Drink of the nectar," the council instructed, their voices unified in reverence. "Let it bind your souls and mark your union in front of the grove." Charlotte took the chalice from William, her heart pounding in anticipation. This ritual was the culmination of their trials, a moment that would redefine their bond. She raised the chalice to her lips, the sweet liquid singing with energy, and then handed it to William, who drank deeply as well. A rush of warmth enveloped them both, an electric pulse igniting their senses. In that sacred moment, their connection deepened. Charlotte felt the magic of the grove flowing through her, intertwining their destinies in a profound way. And yet, a flicker of doubt threaded its way through her heart. What awaited them once this bond was sealed? As they emerged from the well, hand in hand, William turned to her, his eyes blazing with intensity. "Together, we are stronger. With this bond, we can challenge the expectations of our worlds." "What happens now?" Charlotte asked, breathless, a mix of excitement and apprehension swirling within her. "We continue forward," he replied, his voice a low rumble filled with conviction. "And we show our people what true mating means, an alliance rooted in respect, determination, and love. Together, we will break barriers and build bridges." Charlotte's heart swelled with hope. They had faced challenges that tested their resolve and uncovered the depth of their bond. What lay ahead was uncertain, but she was ready to embrace it, all of it, by William's side. The days following their bonding ritual were marked by a profound sense of change. Charlotte and William navigated life in the grove together, their bond a palpable force in the air. They spent time with the council, sharing insights about each other's cultures, working tirelessly to build bridges that transcended their differences. Charlotte discovered the strength of her new life, embracing different customs as she taught William about human ways. They hosted gatherings where humans and Ziphrans met, forging connections over shared stories and laughter. Yet, despite the progress they made, an undercurrent of tension remained, a whisper of dissent from traditionalists who feared change. One afternoon, as they stood overlooking the sacred grove, Charlotte sensed that the peace they'd worked for was fragile. "Will they ever accept us?" she asked, her gaze focused on the horizon. "Will they see past the boundaries that separate us?" William took her hand, a reassuring warmth flooding through the bond they had forged. "Change takes time. We must remain patient and persistent. Our love, this bond, holds greater power than they can imagine." In that moment, Charlotte felt a surge of determination. "Then let's show them. Let's organize a grand gathering, a festival that showcases both our cultures. We can break down the barriers together." William's eyes sparkled with excitement as he considered her proposal. A celebration of unity. It could be a powerful statement. Days turned into weeks as they prepared for the Festival of Unity. Charlotte and William combined their customs, creating events infused with both human and Ziphryan elements. Music echoed through the grove as creators from both worlds collaborated, crafting songs that told tales of their journeys. On the day of the festival, the grove was a riot of color and laughter, a testament to their shared journey. Humans and Ziphrans gathered, with tables laden with food from both cultures, music filling the air, and laughter weaving through the crowd. In the middle of the gathering, Charlotte stood shoulder to shoulder with William, their bond evident to all. They took center stage, welcoming the crowd with an enthusiastic cheer. "Today is a celebration of love, acceptance, and unity. Let us learn from one another and embrace the diversity we bring." As they shared stories of struggles faced, of progress made, and of the deep connections they had forged, Charlotte felt the atmosphere shift. Tentative smiles turned into laughter, and conversations began to flow. As evening approached, the festival reached its pinnacle. The council members stepped forward with hesitant expressions, observing the collective joy around them. The lead elder motioned for silence, her presence commanding attention. "This festival stands as a testament to the bond formed here," she proclaimed. "Unity between humans and Ziphrans is worthy of reverence, even amidst our traditions. Let today mark a new chapter, where we embrace what is different and find strength in our diversity." Cheers erupted, echoing through the grove as Charlotte locked eyes with William, gratitude and love reflecting in their gaze. This was a moment in history, one where walls began to crumble and understanding blossomed like the flowers in the grove. Months passed following the festival, and the impact was profound. Charlotte and William continued to work as ambassadors of unity, hosting events that fostered dialogue and collaboration. They tutored others, shaping the future of both societies, a future where love and acceptance flourished. One evening, as twilight descended upon the grove, they sat beneath the very tree where their destinies intertwined. Charlotte rested her head on William's shoulder, feeling content. "Look how far we've come," she mused, recalling the challenges they faced. "I never imagined I'd find my place here, yet I can't picture my life any other way." "Together, we've built something extraordinary," William replied, his voice a soothing balm. "A realm where our love can inspire others to embrace the differences that once divided us." As the twinkling stars filled the sky, Charlotte smiled softly. "We did this together. Our bond transformed not just our lives, but the lives of others. With the grove's heart behind us, we shall continue to nurture this unity," William said gently, taking her hand in his, the warmth of their connection pulsing between them. "And I wouldn't want it any other way," Charlotte whispered, their hands entwined, sealing a promise that transcended worlds. In that moment, they understood that while challenges would inevitably arise, their bond, their mating, would serve as the foundation to face whatever came next. They were no longer just a human and an alien. They were partners dedicated to fostering love, forging bridges, and creating a legacy that would echo across galaxies. With eyes fixed on the starry expanse above, they knew they were just beginning a journey that would surpass their wildest dreams. As time flowed on, Charlotte and William's relationship continued to bloom, rooted in the deep understanding forged through trials and tribulations. They became symbols of hope and love, a living testament to the unity that could arise when two worlds embraced one another. Their bond inspired generations, teaching the values of empathy, courage, and acceptance across sectors of their societies. In the heart of Zyphora, where the shimmering tree stood tall, they cultivated love, a love that shattered boundaries and wove a rich tapestry of life that flourished in diverse colors. Charlotte and William were bound, not merely by law or custom, but by the deeper connection that stemmed from their journey. In the end, they proved that love, in all its forms, had the transformative power to conquer fear and unite worlds.